Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to the CUP ESC, part of the Currently Unnamed Podcast Network, where we put the real and the team in the ESC from top to bottom, honey. Uh, and specifically, normally it's Europe, Australia, and the world, Asia and the world. I suppose would be more applicable in this case, as we are talking about Eurovision Asia.
We're
Yeah.
here. It's finally a fruition.
I mean, we've been waiting. We've been waiting.
We
We've
have
been waiting. And to get to actually do a national final season this year feels correct. It
yes,
feels
and it does. Um, Especially we still have no idea if the one country is gonna be part of it. But we're just gonna enjoy this time as if they're not. Um,
yeah. So what we do know is that any country that's in main Eurovision isn't going to be in Eurovision Asia, which is great. Which means we feel comfortable covering this contest in its current status and current form, and as such, we
yeah,
will be doing so. Rumor coming around this morning was that Mongolia is going to be joining as well, and that we're going to be at 11 countries. But I'll believe it when I see it. That's just how I feel about any country joining Eurovision. When it's confirmed, I
yeah,
believe it.
yeah. But I did hear about that this morning in fruition, in the works as well. Um,
Yeah.
but yes, I'm excited for the Asian representation that we're about to get as an Asian myself, uh, and especially in lieu of after JJ winning 2025. Yes, it's great to have a whole. I know it's been tried in the past but flop, so hopefully this isn't uh, as much of a flop.
I mean, I'm just excited to see how this goes. I think this is just going to be a really interesting group, and we're starting off really strong
Yeah,
with Rhythm of Bhutan. You know, they tried to make it happen last year, and here we are. They get to go first this year, and it feels appropriate. It feels correct.
it does
Um,
feel correct.
so, Rhythm of Bhutan, we're going to have five songs and artists competing to try to be the first Bhutanese representative at Eurovision Asia. Um, and I gotta say, for a first national final, it's pretty good.
No, it is not bad at all for a first gig.
Is it wrong of me to say that I'm gonna say based on the 2025 national finals at Eurovision, because let's be real, we didn't watch a lot of the ones for 2026. They cleaned the clock of a lot of the national finals for regular Eurovision in 2025.
Low key. I feel like some of these songs would clear, but some other ones would do middle of the pack in that.
Yeah, but I
Like
look
they're
at
up to par.
I look at like what Armenia was doing in 2025.
Oh, these songs clear Armenia. That was a weak selection.
It's a weak selection.
Probably not the best example.
Yeah, shout outs to one of two good songs from that selection being Survivor Stay Aliver, which actually did go and manage to qualify, but beside the point. Um
That's a saliva. Uh, yeah. I just love the joke of I'm a saliva because it sounds like he's saying that.
I'm a survivor, stay aliver. It can't be topped. It's a
Yeah.
lovely lyrical scheme. Um, but yeah, so our five songs today, all of the artists here actually did compete in Druk last year to try to be the Bhutanese representative for the theoretical Eurovision Asia that could have happened last year. Bhutan, sentimentally, will be my country I'm repping this year just from that alone. I want to acknowledge like they want this
Yeah.
bad and they wanted it bad
Oh
enough that they
yeah.
tried to make it happen last year by force. Iconic. Um, yeah, so four of these artists were finalists in Druk last year, and then our fifth artist was a semifinalist in Druk last year. So, like, all of these people are returning from last year, trying to become the first representative. And I don't think any of these songs are below okay. I think even the worst song here, I think, is at least okay.
I agree. I agree.
So, if you are new around these parts and you aren't used to how we score national finals, we score it like we're a jury. And we start at 12 points and work our way down, and then we combine our scores, and then we go in order from bottom to top, and there you go.
Wait a second. 5 minutes into this podcast, I feel like we haven't introduced ourselves properly yet.
Oh my god, did we not?
At least I haven't introduced myself. But
I'm
Brooke, if
Brooke. I'm
you'd like to
passionate
go.
about pop culture, and I'm excited about Eurovision Asia.
And also excited about Eurovision Asia. Hi, I'm Aneesa Lang, also known as MDMV, also known as M. Monteverde. You're a fellow 5'3", friendly, trans, non-binary Filipino Canadian, hailing all the way from Toronto, Ontario, Canada, Scarborough, if you want to be specific. I've been lying about it. It's actually not Holborn. It's North Bendale, if you want to be more specific than that. I ended up doing research in like my technical neighborhood, and I've learned that the boundary. I do not actually live in Holborn, so you already heard first. But
You
anyways,
heard it
on
here
to
first.
Eurovision Asia. I'm very excited.
You heard it here first, folks. Um, yeah, I just, you know, you should be a little bit more excited about Eurovision next year, given that you are no longer part of the rest of the world vote.
Yes,
But
yes, yes, yes. Canada, and there have been a good amount of artists that have been very anticipated and also interested, and I'm sure some of the names that come to my mind are probably names that have been coming to the minds of a bunch of the super fans that have been speculating,
mhm,
especially for a country that I live in.
I'm just excited for next year. But honestly, I'm excited for this year for Eurovision Asia. So let's go ahead and get into it with our song that got fifth place out of our rankings. Uh, and that is, and again, I'm going to try my best not to butcher names here. If I do, I do sincerely apologize. I'm also going to be using the English titles so we don't butcher those too. But this is Karma Drop 2 with the Homeland 12 points, which is 6 points from both of us, which does mean that we both ranked this song last out of the five in the selection.
And it it's only because I will say it's only not to chime in immediately, but only because I like the other four songs better. Not that this song is bad at all, because I think actually the song actually I find the song actually quite different than the others. Like
Yeah.
it does have something about it that stands out,
Mm,
which is for me that the first like 15 seconds of that song.
yeah. So according to the Eurovision website, he is a singer-songwriter and seasoned live performer who can be best described as a cross between folk and soft rock. Um, and he's adept at singing in a variety of languages and has been seen by TV viewers on both Indian Idol and Super Multi Talent. Now, importantly, out of our five competing artists this year, he was the one who was only a semifinalist last year at Drew Draw. He did not make it to the final. Um, and knowing how the voting works, I'm curious to see where in contention he's going to be because I can just say for myself, everywhere I've looked online, he is the preferred artist for a lot of people. He's leading the pack in terms of the rest of the world. It seems like, um, but I don't know how this is going to connect with the juries when they have 40% of the vote at Rhythm of Bhutan. I don't know how this is going to connect with the Bhutanese audience, considering he was again the only one who didn't make it to the final of Draw last year. I don't know if maybe the other artists have more of a pull for them. Um, for
Mm.
me, I just didn't like connect with it in any meaningful way. Again, and to be clear, we don't have lyrical translations, so it is purely just listening to the songs. At present, at least, we don't have translations on like Eurovision World like we traditionally do for songs that aren't in our native languages. Um, I didn't think it was bad. I thought it was pretty unique and cool. It just the other songs I just connected with more. I think if this does end up representing Bhutan, cool. I'm not gonna be like offended. Um, but I think it would be a interesting choice considering that I think some of these songs are just more suited to a Eurovision style competition.
Right, right. Excuse me. I also feel. Oh, what was I gonna say? Um, I actually do find some of the incorporation of like the flutes really cool. Oh yes. So there have been like rehearsal clips that have been released of the performances actually. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so shortly before we are before I hopped on stream anyway. Yeah, I went ahead and watched those, and I will say his vocals aren't that bad. I feel like because it's so majority of that song is so low in his range, where he's in that bass clef where it's like kind of in that register. Um, it doesn't pick up as well, especially when you have kind of a backing track in such a big space.
Mm-hmm. It's just not my personal favorite. I'll just put it that way. I don't think there's anything that I would say is like wrong about it. I don't care for the backing beat that much. I think it's just kind of fine. I like his voice. I think it's interesting and like really unique compared to what a lot of other artists would probably be sending. I just think that maybe it's one of those situations if we just need to. It's just not there yet for this year for me personally. Um,
I'll say the same as well.
All right. So, in fourth place for us is Peldon Wongchuk with The Journey. That's 15 points. That's going to be 7 points from Anissa and 8 points from me. So, Anissa, you can go first.
Yeah. So I was actually very back and forth between the Homeland and this song. Um, but I think what ultimately did it for me was that live vocal. Um, and I just thought Sheldon did a better job with his live vocals. Um, well, then again, the song kind of calls for kind of that higher range for a male voice. Um, he's got a good voice. I like some of the vibes that we're getting in the song. My one thing is that I feel like the instrumentals are so intense, but his voice is so like very sweet. I don't know how to say it. Like it to me, I'm getting a disconnect between the instrumental, especially towards the second half of the song,
Mm.
and his singing voice.
Yeah, I felt that a little bit too. And that is why I gave it 8 points. I just liked it a little bit better than the song that than the other song that I didn't rate as high as you did. Um, But my thing is, I like the opening half of the instrumental. I think the guitar, like the electric guitar, was unique in this particular national selection, where I will say it seemed a little bit more, culturally focused than I would normally expect for a Eurovision national selection, which is awesome, which is exactly what I wanted out of Eurovision Asia. But that uniqueness did keep me coming back, where it did stand out a little bit more instrumentally than a couple of the other songs that were just, you know, unique for Eurovision, but not unique in this national selection. Make it clear.
Yeah,
Um, my biggest knock for him personally was just I didn't feel like the vocal connected very well to the instrumental, and there were things that were kind of like pulling me in and out of it. Um,
yeah,
but I mean, it was not bad, and I think he's definitely
no,
it's definitely something that I could keep an eye on. Um, something that we know is that just because it sounds a certain way in a national final does not mean it is going to sound like that on the final stage in Thailand. So, like, we we have no idea how these people are going to sound in a couple months in November when we're on the big Eurovision Asia stage. Um, so and there's always reworking. If the instrumental in the backing end ends up being something that they want to focus on, they can, and I think that's something that they could and probably should do. Um,
yeah,
Peldon specifically, known as the runner-up on the first series of Bhutan's Got Talent, has had
oh,
multiple hits within the country, and has a YouTube channel as well. So, good luck.
best of luck, Sheldon.
All right. So next up in third place is the Songe Laden Band with The Legend. That's 17 points. That is 7 points for me and 10 points from Aneesa. So going first here, I like this. I like her voice. The lead singer, Songae herself. I like her voice. I think she's very talented. According to their Spotify, this is according to the About section of their Spotify, so do not crucify me if this is incorrect. Um, their five-member band proudly features Bhutan's first female live band artist. So do with that what you will. Um, so I mean, again, they were really cool, really unique sounding. It's just I liked the other three songs I had above it more. I think the Journey had just more instrumentation than I was feeling, and then our top two I just really, really vibed with and really connected with personally. Um, but they've been a band for over 10 years. Um, they've traveled all over the world. Um, so I mean, like they're relatively successful, especially for a band that you know I've not heard of before, but I'm interested to see what they do and what they can do live. Because if performing live is their jam, then this is going to be this is right up their alley. So um, I'm rooting for them to an extent. I mean, I'm rooting for Bhutan in general, but I think this is definitely a good choice. If they send this, I wouldn't be shocked and I wouldn't be mad.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, Obviously, I feel the same way. I gave him more points than Brooke did. uh, yeah, I just really love. Okay, so first, it's one of those songs that kind of grew on me as the day kind of progressed. I didn't listen to these songs until I first got into work at midnight. So, um, yeah, given the 12 hours as of the time of this recording, yeah, this song actually grew on me a lot. Which is why I kind of have it ranked as high as I have it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I just feel like the it's it's the perfect like amount of dynamic. I feel like this song is easily the most dynamic song of the five, where it starts very mellow, and then it switches into this rock kind of vibe, and then it soars perfect. It flies perfectly back down into that mellow towards the end, and I really love the lead singer's voice. Even the backup singers kind of blend really nicely. Um, I feel like there could be some slight tweaking with some of the higher belts
Mm-hmm.
because I in the rehearsal clip, she kind of ends up going into that falsetto. So hopefully on the day of, we kind of get to hear that full force. Um, and I think she can pull it off, especially given her experience or their experience.
In their experience, I mean, again, I think I'm going to correct myself if I'm wrong here. I believe they are by far the most experienced artist in this in the national final. So, hey, sometimes there's no substitution for experience, and if they can, keep it tight on in the live performances, this could be, what ends up going. We're recording this the day before the national final, so we have no idea who's going yet. But I'm just excited. I'm optimistic for their chances. And put it that way.
Yeah, me too.
All right. Next up in second place is Bail 301 with The Memories, 18 points. That's going to be 8 points from Anissa and 10 points from me.
This song I actually find really cool. Um, so it okay. As a fan of as someone who's really into K-pop, it gives me some of that vibe. Like it gives me some of those like slower B sides in like let's say a generic K-pop album. Like it gives that really emotional slow B side. Um, and then the rapping kind of comes in, which I
Mm-hmm.
don't necessarily mind. I feel like they do a really good job at conveying that emotion. Um, in whoever was singing as well as whoever was rapping. It kind of I kind of compared it to Rhythm from this year from
Mm-hmm.
Ukraine,
Mm-hmm.
um, where it kind of has that. almost etherealness. The singer has this kind of etherealness, um, and the instrumentals kind of echo that. And then obviously the rapping comes in and makes much difference. Um, I really love the incorporation of the native instruments. Um, I wasn't expecting there to be English incorporated in this as well.
Not at all.
I believe this might be the only song that has English incorporated in it.
It was the only one I heard it specifically because if it is another song, it's not much because it's like half and half almost. It's like I would say like
Yeah,
30 to 70%, 30% of it's English. So, um, like I was kind of surprised for that as well personally.
yeah. It almost so there's okay. I wrote a certain phrase here, which kind of gives the vibe of, and it comes from a place of like, oh, I've seen like a bunch of these, like as someone who's been to a concert, and
Hmm.
obviously you've been to a concert as well, bro. You know how they have that like sometimes you witness artists and you see in their face of like this, oh, I made it. I feel
Yeah.
like this song perfectly kind of emotes that.
Hmm. Um, yeah, for me, the big thing that really drew me to this one, I love the backing, the instrumentation on this, whatever they're doing here. This blend of instruments that feels both modern and traditional is really cool and has really kept me interested and really kept me invested. Then vocally, I love how they sound. I don't know which members of the band are doing which parts of the vocal at this point. Whoever is doing each section kept me invested and kept me interested. My only real knock is when the female singer, because there's only one woman in the group, is doing her section. They kind of pull the beat out and it kind of goes to a drum and bass loop, sort of, and that drum loop is off sequence with her vocal, and I wish they would tighten that up a tiny
Mm,
bit. But other than that, I think this was just really cool and really unique. Um, for this, especially for this national selection, where, like we mentioned, a lot of these songs are a little bit more on the traditional side, a little bit more on the culturally relevant side, and this is still culturally relevant to Bhutan, but it does that really unique thing that a lot of other countries at Eurovision do, where they have that like those traditional elements that you can tell where a song is coming from in like what country, but it also feels like something you could hear on the radio today, and I
yeah.
think that really boosts them up here. They are, I will say, coming in, they were the odds-on favorite to win Druk Draw last year, and by a significant margin. They won the fan vote in the first competitive episode of Drip Draw. Like they won like 60% of the online vote
Oh
in a
wow.
10-person episode. So like they were doing good numbers. Um, I will say they have over 5 million streams across their digital platforms. And they're relatively popular, especially compared to some of the other artists here who aren't as well established. Um, I personally see this being them going to Eurovision Asia. This is my personal who I think is gonna go, because I think they're gonna appeal to the juries, and I know they're gonna appeal to the Bhutan vote. Um, and then even for the rest of the world vote, they've been like teetering between second and third in most places I've seen. So
Yeah.
I think that they just have a lot of good crossover appeal. Where I think that Karma's really going to appeal to the rest of the world vote, and then our last entrant's going to really appeal to that jury vote. They're going to balance everything out and come out on top in my hypothetical guessing world.
I
I would
definitely
love
see
to
that
see it.
one.
This is really
I see that
great.
one.
And I'd love to see it. This is really great, and I hope that they do well because I would like to see them go personally.
I wish them all the best.
So finally, our winner, getting 12 points from both of us, is Neandra with the Angel. Um, so can we have a quick little chat with the internet here? Why is this rated fifth everywhere I look? I don't get it.
I I don't get it either.
um, yeah, so Neandra is a 24-year-old Bhutanese singer-songwriter. He's a multi-talented musician. Um, he writes his own music for the most part. He has a strong following, with a variety of songs across his platforms, and he sings in English as well. So We'll see if that ends up coming to play, if a possible like retooling. Um, but I just really like this a lot. Again, we don't have the lyrics in English, so if there is anything, if it's like a basic lyrically song, okay, I don't know. But vocally, nobody's touching this man in this selection. Nobody.
I
He
agree.
is
I agree.
cleaning them up vocally. Um, and then even the song itself, again, we don't know what the lyrical content is, but in terms of the production value and the way things flow and how it stays, this is just gorgeous to listen to. It's a really pretty, really great song that I really like and have already added to my Spotify playlist.
And I'll definitely be getting to that in a bit, probably shortly after this recording. Yeah, I love this song. And I think that that selling point is his voice, because that is a voice that you cannot teach. Um,
Mm-hmm.
like, and hearing his first rehearsal as well, I'd say maybe even better than the recording, because it's it as clean as it sounds in the recording. His rehearsals, he sings with a bit more grit and rasp,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like it fits the songs perfectly. And
Yeah.
he has the perfect tone to kind of convey some really intense emotion, good or bad. And I feel like he does it perfectly in the song.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really have much more to add on to that. I think it's just a really great song by a really talented performer that if it does go could do really well, especially considering, I mean, we don't really know how the juries are going to be looking here compared to big Eurovision where we have indicators from past contests. But if it does line up with traditional Eurovision juries, they're going to be all over this. um so we'll see. I am optimistic. We do know that they are going to have the jurors commenting in between performances, like it was Ireland, um, which
Oh,
means we could get a Samantha Mumba moment at Rhythm of Bhutan.
and I hope it is not towards this song.
I hope it is not towards the song either. Um, So let us know down below who you all want to represent Bhutan this year at Eurovision Asia. Who do you think is going to win Rhythm of Bhutan this year? And keep an eye out because we got what 9, possibly 10 more national selections to go through for Eurovision Asia this year because they're all doing national finals, which is insane. But I'm happy about it.
I'm happy
Um,
about that.
yeah, I can't wait. We know that Philippines just dropped their song titles this
Yes, they
morning.
did. The
So
song titles and their composers.
there you go. Let me just go ahead and pull it up real quick. I think are they next?
I don't think so. I
Let me
believe there's like one or two before the Philippines has their national final.
let me just see who's
But
next.
I know as far as Eurovision Asia is concerned, a lot of people are anticipating the Philippines and South Korea.
Yeah. I will say that Malaysia is dropping their artist on the 15th, but we don't know if they're doing how they're doing selection. So we'll see how that goes out.
Oh,
But in terms of the national finals, our next up contest is indeed the Philippines, uh, with
okay, love that
with
for us.
Vietnam not confirming their date yet. So if Vietnam decides, surprise, we're
Okay,
doing ours before the Philippines. We don't know yet, but as of right now, it is currently the Philippines are next. So but yeah, Rhythm of Bhutan.
Rhythm of
Hold
Bhutan, and
on.
also actually, before we sign off, just while we still have this time, you may have seen me drinking out of this little mug, within this half an hour. If you want to get your very own, you can get yours at lotogcreations.etsy.com. Link will be in the description below. Um, I feel like we have other designs too. There might be an updated design, but this is like the original.
Mhm.
Um,
And you can also scan the QR code up by Aneesa's head. That also works.
there you
There you
go,
go.
there you go, right there.
All right. So Asia and the rest of the world, thank you so much for joining us today as we talked about Rhythm of Bhutan. But we are gonna have to get out of here. So follow, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Yeah.
Cheers.